Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry Tuesday webinars. It is really good to have everyone here joining us tonight. And we are going to start now. And as an introduction, I would just like to introduce the Chamber of Commerce and Industry to everyone. Again, if you guys have not known, the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry's main objective is to advocate for economic growth within the Free State, fundamentally as well, but also obviously look at the employment within the region. And that for us is fundamentally our goal and our objective. And we've got various ways in which we would like to achieve this objective. And we are the preeminent voice advocating for increased trade and investment between businesses within the sector, within each sector, as well as with the government within the Free State, with the focus on obviously leading the Free State business community. The fundamental role of the institution is to defend and promote the interest of its members and those that will become members as well. And its membership is divided into 8 main groups representing the major sectors within the Free State. And I think all of you guys know that we've got a beautiful province and we've got a lot of commerce that takes place within our province. We've got a lot of industry activity that takes place within our province as well. We've got financial services. I think we've got some of the biggest financial services providers that are within our province and within South Africa. We've got massive tourist attraction in the tourist attraction industry. I think we're also a leader with regard to that. With regard to logistics, we've got a couple of good logistic company that reign within the Free State. We've got ICT and property development as well, with a lot of other business services that we provide. So those are fundamentally the areas that we focus on. And as the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we would like to also invite you guys to go check out our website. We will be posted at the bottom right towards the end, and get a bit more in-depth understanding as to our value proposition and also how you can become part of the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, where you get privy to information that could be decisive in the survival strategies that you implement during this COVID-19 pandemic that we face. That is just a bit about our chamber. I would just like to go through just some of the board members and all of the information is available on our website. Our president is Kamo. He's the CEO of Sage Africa as well, and is a serial entrepreneur as well. And I think most of you guys have either once upon a time in your career been in an encounter with him, or read some of the articles. I think some of the news that has been about action coaches that has taken place in the past years. We also have Charlie Naidu, that is also an admitted attorney and also specializes in local government, and she's in charge of legal services at the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality. It's also brilliant to have her as a motivational speaker as well, serving on our board as well. We've got Yaku Kroger, that is a chartered accountant as well, and he specializes a lot in auditing and also in financial management. It's also a pivotal role that he's played, providing a lot of financial assistance or financial advice that he's assisted with during this pandemic to all of our members and also those that have been linked to the chamber as well, to help them. And then we've got Andor van der Linde, that's also our HR specialist as well, and runs administration. And also she's very good with strategic BEE interventions as well. And I think she's got a couple of good cases that she's busy at this point in time. Then myself, Ronaldo Meyer, as a deputy director on a lot of investment capital boards and also performance analyst at the Cheetahs, or I used to work a lot in the sporting fraternity, managerial positions that I've held there, and also board member on multiple NGOs and also NPOs within the Free State and South African context. And tonight, obviously, we've got a special guest that is going to be having a discussion with all of us regarding how women, specifically, I think within the Free State context, have really influenced how businesses obviously survived during this pandemic, but also what has happened before the pandemic has struck as well. And Kamogelo Seekoei is a journalist, editor turned into a media entrepreneur. And it's very interesting how I got to meet her, because I read a lot of her articles, and I've noticed that she's also the founder and the editor of Ignited Women magazine, and they specifically focus on writing about women empowerment and also the women within specific industries and sectors within the province, which is published by Kana Media Productions, where she is also the CEO. Also regarding that, Kamogelo Seekoei became a trailblazer in the media tech practitioner with a niche interest in women. Her digital publications is an emerging leading voice for women in business and a resource giving its readers strategic business content and insightful profiles on the industry leaders. Kamo Media Productions also produces Free State Top 50 Game Changers, and that is just some of the things that Kamo has done. And tonight, obviously, our discussion is about how women have survived and how they've implemented strategies within their businesses, but also be able to help facilitate with survival strategies during this pandemic as well. So I'm going to actually give over to Kamo. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, Kamo, and give you the opportunity to start sharing your screen. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Kamo that's going to do a presentation for all of us tonight, and I'm really excited to have Kamo on the show. And please, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to remind you of the following before Kamo goes ahead. It's just that make sure that you guys remain on mute. Also, please post all the questions that you have in the comment section on the far right hand side of your screen, and during the Q&A, I'll be sure to answer and direct all your questions to our speaker.
Thank you very much, Ronaldo, once again for inviting me to speak on a topic that's very close to my heart, which is women. I'm very excited to be here and to be talking about women, and to be the first one, for the month of August to kick off the month. So I'm very, very excited, and thank you to my friends that I was nagging in their inboxes to come and join the talk as well. Thank you so much for joining in. So today's talk is about women, and who are trailblazers and who are essentially just taking over their spaces and, running with their businesses. Before I get into that, I just want to take everyone through Ignited Women magazine and what we do there and why we do what we do, right? So I'm going to start with our values, which are creativity, innovation, and integrity. And the magazine's tagline is Dare to Level Up. I think aptly we exist because we want women to level up, whether they are in the business sector or whether they are in corporate, wherever they are, they should just level up. And some of the topics that I'm going to be touching on, besides talking about Ignited Women magazine, because I think it is the thread that's going to, put this talk together. I'm going to talk about lessons that we've taken as the team of Ignited Women magazine, lessons that we've taken from the women we've interviewed over the past year. I'm going to talk about support as a resource, navigating the new normal from two perspectives, which is why digital is the now and the future, and the new normal for us as Ignited Women, which will shed light into how we are navigating the COVID-19 lockdown and all the limitations that come with it. And before I start, I just want to read this quote from Ife Afe. Ife Afe is the managing director for HP Inc. in Central Africa. She's actually one of the women that we've featured in the current edition of the magazine. She says, "Women in Africa make great business people. We have a stronger need to get things done and are more willing to take risks than our male counterparts. This is because we are considered the underdog. No one expects to see great things from us. I've seen it play out in my own life story." So that's her story. She's seen it play out. But here we are as Ignited Women. What do we do? We address exactly what Ife is talking about, the fact that women are always underdogs. Women tend to not even celebrate themselves, because whatever it is that we do, we take it as normal as it can come. If something has to be done, we do it. We get up, we do it. Whereas with the male counterpart, they tend to celebrate. in the house, a man cooks, he will celebrate for the whole week, but the woman cooks every day. So the way that I found as an outlet, to celebrate women, was to come up with this concept of Ignited Women magazine, which is a bi-monthly publication for business and corporate women. We are an emerging leading voice for women in business and a resource that gives our readers strategic business content and insightful profiles on industry leaders. This has already been said in my profile at the beginning. We are cheerleaders. I consider myself to be a cheerleader for women. We're also advocates for gender parity in the workplace, advocates for equal pay, and we speak the language of our audience. We have created an array of advertising platforms that brand owners can use to access our readers and a wider market. Through our results-driven advertising platforms, we link brand to the women who, by all accounts, hold the buying power. Here at the bottom, I have to move my face a bit up there. Yes. So here at the bottom, I've just outlined some of our platforms as a magazine. We have the magazine, which is what we call the e-zine because it's digital, so electronic magazine. Sorry. We have our website where we do our weekly updates, and we have a newsletter and our social media platforms. The numbers there just indicate, the people who buy our magazine digitally, the people who visit our website on a weekly basis, and the number of subscribers that we already have. I think we are doing well for a new baby or for a new kid on the block. And we actually distribute the newsletter every month, once a month. That would be enough about Ignited Women for now. I just want to get into the business of the day, which is talking about the people we've interviewed, the pearls of wisdom that we've gotten from them, and everything else. And once again, I'm going to move my face around because this is Zoom. You have to find a way that works to do everything. So women who are dominating their respective industries. Ronaldo called me and said, you have this magazine, you talk to women all the time, and it seems as if women are just on the rampage in a good way, in a very positive way. Women are on the rampage. Women are in every industry, whether it's steel, whether it's construction, whatever it is that exists on earth, women are there. Please come and talk to us about that, and let's just unpack how these women who are in businesses are surviving the COVID-19 lockdown mostly. So my team and I find ourselves in a very rare privilege, because unlike most people, we get to meet everybody. We get to meet and talk to people. We get to learn so much from them as we talk to them. And the one thing that I can sum up from everything is that right now, even with COVID-19, this is actually the best time to be a woman in business, in particular, not in general. And this is not because it's now easier to be in business. In actual fact, it's now more difficult than it's ever been to be in business. But it's a good time to be a woman in business because it's possible. The playing field is almost level, and the opportunities are there to be grabbed or explored. It's possible because as women, we see other women doing it. We see other women succeeding in whatever respective fields that they are in. We see them being resilient, and we see success. So it is truly a good time, or the best time, to be a woman in business. And some of these industries, some of the people that we have spoken to, who happen to be in the male-dominated industries. I'll just outline a bit about these industries later on. Some of the women that we've interviewed come from the construction sector, security sector, and these are not just people who work in those industries, but these are business owners in those industries. So it's construction, security, farming, agro processing, manufacturing, retail, and technology. And I mean, by all measures, what we know, I could say what we know because we know it from them. These are very, very tough industries. These are tough industries. There's probably just one space left at the table for another player, and that player happens to be a woman. So when they get there, when they get to the table, they have to prove themselves. They have to work like 3 times harder than everybody else. And, you know, the benefit is still not equal, but they are there and they're taking up space and they're trailblazing and they're showing everybody else that it can be done. On the other side, we have industries that are not necessarily male dominated, but industries that are really hard to crack. You know, the entry level is very high. The industries are very competitive. And I just name a few of them, which is business consulting, e-commerce, media, hair and beauty in its entirety, you know, food industry, and every other sector for that matter. It has become very difficult for anyone who goes into business to actually make it. But one thing that has really, really come up, been repeated all the time by our women, we call them our women because they are now ours, is that if you don't have a source, which is the last point here at the top, if you don't have a source, if you don't go anywhere to center yourself, you will be scattered. So for them, it has been very important to be centered, to have a source which gives them, you know, what can I say, which gives them the resilience. So whatever it is, whatever challenge that you face, whatever disappointment that you face, when you have a source that you go to, then you are able to have that resilience to wake up in the morning the next day and say, you know what, yesterday was yesterday, I had a no, somebody said whatever, but today is a new day, we'll do it again. And this then leads me to a very important resource in business that the women talk about, which is support. So I say here, support as a resource is equals to resilience. But I just want to give you a little bit of a story before I get into this. So I love comedy a lot, and I mean, I'm a sucker for comedy. Doesn't matter what kind of comedy it is, as long as it's comedy. I mean, they invite me. I'm gonna laugh the hardest because it's just my thing. So this young girl from Nigeria, Emanuela, I hope that you guys know her. She does these skits with her uncle, and they're very funny, hilarious actually. So there's one where she's coming back from school with some girls, and they actually one of them wants to fight with her, and they're shouting, you know, she doesn't have support. She's the only one. So this one has a group of girls who are supporting, and they're screaming, moral high, you know, they're giving her morale. Emanuela must stop and fight because this girl has morale. And I like that, and there's a lesson in that, because if you don't have that morale high behind you, then it's very difficult for you to go forward. You know, with everything that comes with running a business, if you don't have a support structure, you know, behind you, it's very difficult. I ask here in the presentation, how many of you confidently go out into the world when the personal space is a constant battle? How do you confidently leave your house, lock the door, and confront whatever challenge that you have out there when everything is weighing heavy on you? So out of more than 100 interviews that we've had, I mean, we established Ignited Women in February 2019. And out of the people that we have interviewed, almost all of them mention support. They mention a husband, they mention a friend, they mention a parent or their children, but they mention support as a cushion, as a place of safety where they go, you know. And I have seen this to be a really important resource. It's very, very underestimated, undermined. Sometimes we even, if we overlook it, we don't see it as something that is important, because as much as you can pray, kneel down and pray, as much as you can have financial backing and all that, it's very lonely as at the founding stage of a business. It's very lonely on the journey of running a business. But when you have support, then you know that, you know, you have the morale high, like Emanuela, you have it. It's there. You can go out there and conquer. And that is why women do that. They go out there, they conquer, because they know that you have to kneel down, you have to have support, and you have to appreciate what you have. And all of these things have been important, I'd say, in what? In South Africa, on TV, they say 131 days of lockdown, different stages of lockdown, but we are today 131 days in a lockdown, right? All of these things that I've said about, you know, women being resilient, women praying or going to their source, because I mean, we all have different sources where we draw strength from, support from our children, our parents, our friends, or whoever it is. It has just been more important now that we are in a lockdown, now that we are facing even more of a challenge. I mean, it's hard enough to run a business, but imagine running a business in a world or in a circumstance that you don't even understand, where you kind of have to shape shift or reinvent yourself as you go. You know, if you fall, you have to get up very quickly and learn very quickly and bolt, you know. So all of those things have been very, very important, have been assets in actual fact to running a business in a pandemic. Which then takes me to this quote, which will lead me to navigating business in this era. Edith Njuluki is a business development consultant. She actually used to run her business in Bloemfontein, but she has since moved to Cape Town. She's one of our contributors, and her insights on business are truly amazing. In the current article that she has written for us, she looks at future jobs. What's upcoming? What are the things that are, you know, who's going to survive, essentially? Who's going to survive after all of this? It's a new normal for everyone, but, you know, who's more likely to survive and who's more likely to succeed? So I just took this one line where she says, things are not just changing for the now, but will continue on this trajectory going into the future. This is a renaissance, and traditionally operated businesses will suffocate as the digital transformation kicks in. I think this just, you know, spells it out as to what direction business owners should take, or what direction some business owners have started taking. And if you're not taking that, direction, like she says, your business is essentially going to suffocate, navigating the new normal, why digital is the now and the future. I drew this other quotation from Ifi Afe, one of the ladies that I quoted before, from HP, where she says technology has changed the way companies conduct business by enabling small businesses, women, and youth to level the playing field. I think I said this about the playing field and all that. So technology is the equalizer in this game of running business. And in the lockdown, technology has been the equalizer. Women have used it. There was a sense that, when you call a person on WhatsApp before lockdown, when you call a person on WhatsApp, or when you text a person from WhatsApp, you don't use email, or I don't know, you don't use Skype, then people will say, no, you're so unprofessional. Why are you calling me on WhatsApp? Since the lockdown, no one has ever asked me, why are you calling me on WhatsApp? Or why are these people calling me on WhatsApp? WhatsApp has integrated itself as a business tool, whether it's calls, whether it's text, whether it's whatever, it has integrated, because now everybody realizes that technology is at the center of how we will be running our businesses, how we should be running our businesses as it is, and even going into the future. The common thread in all of this, obviously, is technology, whether it's security, whether it's whatever. People consult online now. If you have a lawyer, you have a legal matter, you consult online. You don't need to go to the office to meet up. You've wasted your petrol and all of that. I think all of those things are good. When we go back to normal, which is the new normal, some of these things are going to be eliminated. I like it when Edith, in her article, talked about the fact that we don't even use cash to pay our bills anymore. Everything is we've learned. If you didn't use any online tools before, we've now learned about online shopping. When you need food deliveries, where people who have grocery buying companies, they now, their business are growing. Online pay gates are growing. Workflow software, to enable remote working. At some point, Zoom, the people were saying Zoom is not safe. We are here on Zoom. Everybody's here on Zoom. We are talking. We are engaging, and business continues. Everything continues online. But I just want to, just before I say thank you, just talk to how we at Ignited Women have navigated the pandemic. Firstly, our way of working has not changed. The way we work now is the way we were working in February 2019 when we launched the magazine. So we kind of, we didn't anticipate, but we were, those trailblazers. We were ahead of our time, if I may put it that way, because we all work remotely. Those who can meet. Those who can't meet, don't meet. We never actually even use Zoom. We'd use like a WhatsApp call or whatever, just to connect. But most importantly, the lockdown has forced us to look at our offering to our clients. It has forced us to tighten our pitch, to tighten how we sell the magazine to not only advertisers but to our readers as well, because we, like everybody else, were confronted with not being able to go outside and have people look at you on the face as you pitch, whether you are convincing or whatever. You rely on email and you hope that they will get the message. So we've had to to relook what we offer and how best to offer that for our clients and for our readers to really grasp what we do. So pitching platforms that we've used email, we've used Zoom, we've used Teams, we've used WhatsApp, a lot of WhatsApp. I don't know why WhatsApp is not even on the pitching platforms there. We've used a lot of WhatsApp. Like I said, WhatsApp has truly integrated into being a valuable business tool. Communications platforms that we've used WhatsApp. Yes, it's there. We've used email a lot, and Skype to a very limited extent, but we've used Skype as well. Most importantly, navigating the new normal or navigating the pandemic, as it were, is just taking the lead from like the World Health Organization, staying home, taking the lead from our government, because we still need to stay home, and just innovating. I think the most important thing is thinking outside the box and not waiting for when, people say, when Corona is over. I'm not laughing. When Corona is over, then I will do this. We can't wait for this to be over. We have to find a way that makes what we do work, and a way that if I'm using these platforms, if I'm taking this direction with my business, and then 2-3 months down the line there's there's a vaccine and everybody's now able to go outside, will this model still work in that future? So I think the lessons that we have taken from our women is just being innovative all the time, trying to reinvent yourself when you are confronted with problems, and just be centered. Because if you are not centered, like I said, you will be scattered. Everything will scatter you. This is happening. There's a pandemic, or there's no pandemic, but there's always something that will scatter you if you don't have the right focus. With those few words, I hope I didn't take a long time, and I hope that you enjoyed my talk and you will be able to take something from that. I will field a few questions to you.
Thank you so much, Kamo, for that. I really appreciate the fact that you gave us a bit of perspective as to how you guys have obviously used the different tools that you guys have got to your disposal on that side to actually help beat this pandemic. And there's just a couple of questions that have popped up. I would like to just remind everyone that you're more than welcome to put your question into the comment section there on the chat. So I'm just going to start with a question from my side. And you touched a bit on this earlier on, and I would like us to just get a bit of understanding as to women being put on an equal pedestal as men within the business, so within the business sector. So I'd like to know from your perspective, and what you guys have obviously experienced. Do you think that there is more competition within or among women than there is within the entire sector in itself? So do you think that women battle harder against each other than they actually battle against all the competitors that are actually within that particular sector? And then I'm going to read two more questions, and then you can respond to that, and then there'll be another set of questions. The next one is the fact that how are women fighting internal battles that every entrepreneur deal with on a daily basis? And is there a formula in which the women are able to fight against those? Next question is also, how can men position themselves to make that necessary space for women to also be able to conduct themselves and to make the necessary moves within the country? Those two questions were posed by, and I hope I can pronounce your surname and your name correctly, Keropetse. I would also allow you to like to add, Keropetse, if you would like to add anything to that, you're more than welcome to do so now. and then we'll give Kamo an opportunity to respond. So Karapetso, you can unmute yourself if you would like to. If I have reiterated the questions correctly, Kamo can answer. If not, then you're welcome to just rephrase them as you would like to. Okay, are you happy with that, Karapetso? Have I asked your questions correctly? It does seem like it. Okay, Kamo, you're more than welcome to answer those. Yeah, I've done justice to them. That's good news, Karapetso. Kamo, you can answer those 3 questions, and then I'll go to the next set of questions that has been asked.
Okay, so can I just get some clarity on the third one? I'll start answering from the first one, but the third one, you said, how can men position themselves?
Yeah, so how can men position themselves to make the necessary space for women in order to move the country or the world really forward? And are men intimidated by the power that women carry? Yeah, that's what Karapetso's added there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So on the first one, equal pedestal and women fighting, amongst themselves, harder amongst themselves, you know. Wow. Ronaldo. Well, I think the thing about it is, it's as if there isn't enough for everyone. The way the pie is presented, if I may put it as a pie, right? The way the pie is presented is as if someone will get a piece and then the others will not get a piece. So you have to kind of work hard or work fast, whichever one you prefer, to get the piece of the pie that is left for that one person. But I don't think that women are fighting hardest against each other. I think just women are just on a constant battle with the system, and like I'm saying, the system presents one thing or presents space for one person. So it seems as if women are fighting against each other, whereas they just want to get ahead. There is space for everyone, and more women are realizing that there is space for everyone. We always talk about how in the township, mostly, I don't know about other areas, I'm from the township, so that's what I know, that if I start a car wash, the next person is going to start a car wash, and then the other person is going to start a car wash. But what I'm realizing more and more with women is that they now understand, for us to get a space, we need to expand the table. If there's only one seat, we need to move the seats around to make more room for other seats to come in. By that, I mean, I've learned this with a couple of women that we do, women who are in construction, right? So you have women who are making bricks. We've interviewed them. We have women who are builders, right? We have women who are paint manufacturers. And who else did we interview who is in the construction sector? But all of them are in one sector, and they're now no longer fighting to get a tender to build a house, but they are saying, what else is there? Oh, the other one was interior deco. What else is there that I can do in this sector so that we all get a piece of the pie? Rather than we all fight to be builders, how about I manufacture bricks and then the builder will buy it from me? How about I manufacture paint so that when you are done building, then you come to me and then I'm your supplier for this, So the value chain is kind of expanding, but maybe the reality is we were left behind, so we just kind of running to get ahead, to get to where everybody else is. I mean, women have been left behind, but black women have been left behind. Like, black women are like the face of poverty, are the face of everything that still needs to progress. So those of us who are running, we want to get there. But yeah. And then
Thank you.
on the second question, fighting internal battles and whether there's a formula. Wow. I've learned that there's no formula except in maths and science probably, but life does not have a formula for anything. And women fight internal battles. There are many internal battles. I don't know if I should give examples. I'm just gonna give generic examples that most women face. You know, society as it is a man's world. It's that's what it is. So when you emerge as a businesswoman, or when you emerge as a corporate leader, you still have to deal with those nuances of men looking down on you, or men not having respect for you because you are a woman and they won't listen to a woman. I mean, even in 2020, you still have those kinds of people, who say, but I mean, this one is a woman. Even in the home front, you may be a corporate leader, or you may be a successful businesswoman out there, but when you get home, you still have to do the dishes, and you still have to, like, there's so many internal battles that women have to deal with. And out of everything that they deal with, they still have to face the world with a smile and look really, confident, and all of that. And that on its own is an internal battle. Having to kind of put up a face because there are things that are not going well behind you is very heavy, and is one of the battles that women have to fight. Yeah. Are men intimidated by the power that women have? Yes and no. Most men are not intimidated. They are just men. They're just guys, um and they are socialized differently. Men are socialized differently. So I don't think it's a case of men being intimidated. Yes, there are men who are intimidated, and they'll stop at nothing, to make sure that a woman doesn't get ahead. But that's not the common thing. Like, men don't wake up in the morning to say women will not get ahead. I personally have not encountered a man who is so determined to block the success of a woman, but I have seen on a daily basis men just being men because of the way they were socialized. Um, I think I said it earlier in my talk that women don't celebrate their achievements. We do what needs to be done. That's who we are. And men will blow a trumpet the whole week for one small achievement. And I'm not undermining the achievement of men over that of women, because the reality is, life is not a men versus women thing. We need to just come together. And I think this is where the first part of the question is being addressed. How men can position themselves. Men can just position themselves as equals to women and not as superiors to women. That's all women want. Women don't want anything more. They just need to know that if she walks into a room and she says this, she needs to be respected just as much as if a man came into the same room and said the same thing as she said. That's all. We just want to be seen as equals. We do not want to be superior to men. We do not want to be ahead of men. We just want to be given equal opportunities, to be on the same playing field and be seen as equals. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that comment. I really would like to add on to that as well. It has really been inspirational to see how those particular factors that you've highlighted, how women have not really just come to, and thank you especially with regard to my first question, is how women have, there has been in the beginning, I've monitored a lot of women's development over the past couple of years and the decades and read up on stories, and there was initial competition among themselves, but then they realized that, you know what, we're actually fighting a bigger battle, and that is within the entire sector. There are two more questions that have popped up on my side here. One is here from Martin, and I actually would like Martin, you are more than welcome to just quickly unmute yourself, and I would like you to actually ask this question yourself. Is that okay with you, Martin? Thank you, Martin.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
All right, perfect. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to find out. I don't know if should I read the question, or Kamo have seen the question already. I'm not sure what I should do then.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, cool. The question is, what has given you the staying power to this point, given that when you started, online publications were not very popular?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Martin. There's one more question. I appreciate that, Martin. Then there's one more question that says, media that has been printed, or printed media as we know it, is it dead with regard to the developments that has taken place within the media sector? And that comes from Tabo Pitse. He's asked that question. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Tabo, for your questions. It doesn't seem like there are further questions, so this is just, I think, the last round, unless there's any subsequent questions that come up. So, Kamo, you're more than welcome to answer those. Thank you so much.
Okay. What has given me staying power? Grit. Grit, determination, knowing what you want and just forging ahead despite the fact that what you have in your head or what your vision is not yet seen by people. It's unfortunate that we had to have a pandemic for people to actually start waking up to new things, and people in our country, most especially, and people in our province. I mean, people consume media every day, but they would not see the value of that, of digital media until now. So that's why I'm saying it's a pity that there had to be a pandemic for recognition to happen. But for me personally, it has been just great, just making sure that, you know what, the day will come when people realize that this type of medium is valuable. It's convenient, it's cheaper, it's all of those things. Prayer, yes, prayer has sustained me. I think without prayer, I would have given up a long time ago, because the founding stage is very lonely. You think that people are not that, like, there's nobody, people are not there to help you, or people are, you feel despondent most of the time. You wake up like, oh, not again. You go to bed like, oh no, not again. But prayer has sustained me, and just that determination to succeed. And yes, once again, support from my family has been valuable. There's nothing like support, and I mean, support comes in different forms. For me, support was my family realizing that I'm working.
Yeah.
And them leaving me alone, like not like when I'm seated there in my corner, they realize this woman is working, working from home, being away in Johannesburg, they realize, okay, there's a lot of work to be done, And for me, that was incredible, because at the beginning, when I'm sitting at home in Tabanchu there, at my mother's house, and I'm trying to put in some work, then she'll come. Don't you want coffee? No, I don't want coffee. I'm working. Don't you want cake? No, I don't want this. I'm working. Okay, please give me an hour, then I'll join you. But then with time, those things stopped, And yeah, so Martin, I think it has been prayer, 1, it has been determination, 2, and 3, it has been support from my family. That's what has given me staying power. And of course, the Ignited Women team. How can I forget those people? They do everything. They even say to me that there's no way that you can be despondent. There's no way that you can give up. You don't disappoint yourself, don't disappoint us, don't disappoint God, and all that. So yeah, those 4 things. Yeah. Then Thabo, is the print media dead? Not really. But the print media has a tough time now because it's very expensive, and digital media comes in very cheap. Yes, not even cheaper. It comes in very cheap. Yeah. If I'm to elaborate on that, to print this magazine, Ignited Women, if we wanted to print 5,000 copies as an example, we'd have to pay 47,000 rands. To put it on a digital platform, you pay 1,000 rands as an annual subscription. So it comes in like there's no comparison as how reasonable it is to actually run a digital publication. So print media has to find a way to reinvent. I don't know how. Print shops have to find a way to make products cheaper. I don't know how, but I don't necessarily think it is completely dead. There might be a way, but they just have to innovate and reinvent.
And thank you so much, Kamo. I would like to ask if there's any closing remarks from your side, Kamo, before I do the closing remarks from my side.
I just want to say that not even running a business, starting a business is not the easiest of things. The fact that a person has started, means that person has started. And I think as people, especially as Black people, we need to rally behind a person who has started a business. We need to understand that they have done what no other person has done, especially us from the townships. We have this mentality that when a person starts a business, we'll be saying, this one, what is this one trying to do? He wants to be Saul Kessner used to be the millionaire for Sun International. He wants to be Bill Gates, But I think we need to shift our mentality as a people and just start seeing entrepreneurship for what it is, because once we start supporting these people, then they'll be able to create jobs and change lives. And happy Women's Month. Yay!
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kamo, from the Chamber of Commerce side. I really appreciate the fact that you took your time and that you came and had a conversation with us. I think we really took out, if I can just commend the fact that there's been valuable stories, and I would actually refer everyone to be able to actually go and read some of the stories that have been published by your magazine, but also encourage, I think, the women within your family to be able to actually excel at those various in the various sectors that they find themselves in. So that's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Kamo, for that. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to reading more articles on how women have actually changed the business mentality that everyone has had for a long time, and that we are actually able to develop business within the Free State. Got something that we call the best business news of the week, and I'm going to share. I'm going to give my fellow entrepreneur, if I can put it that way, an opportunity to speak to us about this from the desk of the president. So, Mr. Peter, would you mind sharing your screen with everyone so we can have a discussion regarding that? Thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is just a quick 5 minutes to actually wrap up. First of all, I just want to say on behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you very much to the CEO of the chamber, Ronaldo, and your team, Amelia, Sanet, and Lesala from Action Coach for hosting us. But more importantly, I just want to say thank you very much to our guest speaker today, Kamo. I must say, I don't know if you remember me, I think I had an opportunity to be featured in your magazine as well in the past. So yeah, so it's very nice to see you. Thank you very much for what you are doing for the community within the media space. Another thing that I'd just like to say is that Happy Women's Month to all the ladies out there. And interesting enough, it has to be my birth month that became a woman's month. So that simply means that I'm a very special guy. So Happy Women's Month to everyone. Yeah, just one remark though, two remarks. One thing that I just want to add on to what to Kamo's presentation is the fact that I saw on your magazine, I saw two people. I saw Leah from Linoma Legal. I saw Neile. I can proudly say those guys are the graduates of my program, EBL Institute, actually, because I remember Leah was still working. When she graduated, that's when she resigned and went on to become a legal techpreneur, you know. So, well, I mean, I'm very proud of that. And I see one of the guests as well. I think Renee is also one of our graduates as well. So, yeah, I'm quite proud to see. And these are the guys who are actually occupying their spaces. Okay, just to share my screen quickly, we just want to give you value for attending our webinar. So one of the things I just want to share with you is that to our paying members, we've got all the information, all the important documents that we normally give out. So, but to you guys who have made the effort to actually attend the webinar tonight, I just want to show you this. This is the, it's all about the quota in the workplace and stuff. And if you get exposed with COVID-19, all the compensation funds, everything that happens over there. So we've got this important document here that we'd like to share with you. So just make sure, I believe we all have your emails. So this will be our gift to you, because we receive information from Saki, from Busa, from the President's office directly, from small business development on daily basis, so that we can share with our member members, which are the people who are actually paying their subscriptions. So to all you guys who are doing that, and you for attending, every week you attend, you'll get something valuable. So you will receive this document, and please go through it so that you know exactly what happens when you get exposed to COVID-19 while you're at work, and also as an employer, also as an employee, whichever one you are. So this is a very important document that we'd like to gift you guys with. But for our paying members, we know that that's a tradition. Now, just before I close, I just wanted to add on to what our guest speaker has said over there, has spoken about, and I've seen those questions that came about. Let me close this discussion from my desk by sharing with you what we call the identity iceberg. We all know, they always say that you are a consequence of your identity, of your values, of your beliefs, of your skills. Now, what we normally see is how people act and how people behave and the kind of decisions that they take. And then most of the time, we are quick to judge people based on those three, because those are the only three things that you see. Now, where do those three actually, where do they come from? The environment that is there under, that's why you talk about the tip of an iceberg is what you see. So under there is actually what you call your environment, what makes you who you are. And the best way I always say people must look at, because now we are having this discussion, I know for sure it's a controversy. Are women more important than men? It's Women's Month, there's never a Men's Month. What is it about women? You know, the kind of questions that were posed to Kamo. So I thought to myself, you know what, let me just share this with everyone. for example, when you talk about identity, I always say to people, just look in the mirror. What you see or who you see, how you feel about that person, what you think about that person, that's your identity, because that's really you. So that's what makes you you. Now, talking about values, one of the reasons I shared this, me as the guy who came out of a family of I had a single mother, 2 sisters. It was a family of 4 people. I was the only guy. Now, learned to grow up with ladies throughout my life. And one of my values that I know for sure is that, taught by ladies actually, I don't know if it's a disadvantage or advantage. They teach you exactly how to treat a woman. So I would say that was an advantage for me where I'm concerned, because one of my values is that is why people who know me well, I always advocate for female leadership, because I was led by a great leader who's my mother, who happened to have been a domestic worker, but what an awesome person. I mean, she taught me everything that I know. People, every time they give me compliments, I look back and I look at my mother. I say, you know what? It looks like they're talking about my mother here. So with that being said, a whole lot of value system, the way our values are, which are things that are important to us, they're the ones who actually influence how we act, how we behave, and how we take decisions. Even in these gender roles that it's such a controversy that to deal with. And just the last thing that I also want to say is that in terms of the belief system, they always say that your actions will always follow your belief system. So whatever that you believe, if you believe you're a loser, you are a loser and you'll become one. If you believe you're a winner, you'll become one. I mean, I was doing a keynote today as well, telling people coming out of a home where we stayed in a shack, 1-room shack, and with a domestic worker mother who was earning just 200 rand, how do you get on to end up being a doctor, to end up to where I am? Because I come from an environment where it's supposed to be poor, So the environment makes you. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, our guests, honorable guests for today, I hope this identity iceberg, it can contribute and just remind you, these are things that obviously, just remind you exactly what makes us behave the way we do, take the decisions that we take, and act the way we do. Are those things down there. So sometimes if you need to work on anything to improve yourself, those are the things you work on. Skills, you add education, you get trained, belief systems. A lot of people, they need to reverse their belief systems and value systems somehow in order to improve their identities. So if you can work hard on those things, you have a better identity about yourself. I don't believe any man will be intimidated by a woman. Rather, will be like me, who always say, we need a female president. I've been led by great women in my life, and I know how leadership that comes from women, how awesome it is. I mean, they just have something that women don't have, So with that being said, I just want to say, ladies, once more, Happy Women's Month, and may God bless you all, and may we men stand up and be responsible and end this gender-based violence. Women don't need that from us. I mean, if from the Bible, we are protectors, we are providers of women. Those are God-given duties. But now, if as a man, you cannot do those 2 duties, what makes you a man? So I'm not going to preach. Ronaldo is the pastor here. So I'm not going to preach. With those words, I just want to say, I think I said what I needed to say. I have thanked everyone. And just remember, make sure that your email address is correct. We will send you the document so that at least you know exactly, and other documents as well that we know are important for a small business to be able to function or to be compliant, especially where the law is concerned. With those words, I'd like to give it back to you and say, job well done once more, Mr. CEO. Thank you.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And as we just close off, I would just like to remind you guys that we will be doing a media release tomorrow morning. You will receive a thorough article that is being drawn up by Kamo and also by myself as the CEO as well. So you'll receive that tomorrow. Important to also know that we will send out a questionnaire just to speak about how you've found this particular webinar and also the time slot and the information surrounding the webinars. So I'll please like you guys, as we've reiterated, that you guys would make sure that your email address and contact information is proper. And then with regard to next week, we've got Connie, that is from the legislature or the office of the legislator, and the topic of next week is going to be the impact of business involvement in the lawmaking process. I think this is one of the most important aspects that we need to look at as business women and men within, I think, the Free State. And Connie is going to give us perspective regarding that, and we are able to ask a couple of questions regarding that. Connie is an attorney and a legal advisor in the Free State Legislature, and that is what's going to happen next week. So I'll please remind you guys to make sure that you book Tuesdays for the Chamber. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining us, and we look forward to engaging with you guys. Go follow us on Instagram, go follow us on Facebook, and also make sure to follow us or go check out everything that happens on our website, where you get all the information pertaining to the webinars. May you guys have a lovely afternoon or an evening, wherever you guys are joining from. And remember that the Free State Chamber of Commerce and Industry's main objective is to advocate for economic growth and employment within the region. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Kamo.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.